Hello again, it's Great Southern Ancient Miniature Man. I've got the unbagging of the Spartan Armoured Hoplites by Victrix. You're probably aware this kit's been out for 10 years or more now, but I managed to pick it up quite a bargain price on eBay recently, and I thought I'd better do a little review. You're probably also aware that there's a whole new set recently brought out, Armoured Greek Hoplites by Victrix, which I'm hanging out for, and I thought part of the reason for getting these now is to be able to mix and match the two kits. So let's have a look. They do have 48 guys in there, 8 per sprue, and I think all the sprues are exactly the same. They are. So let's just get one and have a serious look at it. They also, you might have noticed, have a nice little instruction sheet here, how to put them all together, numbers and components. To be honest, I usually don't take the slightest bit of notice and just put them together however I feel like, which seems to work quite well. Occasionally you need a little bit of green stuff or milliput to fill in some gaps where you're putting arms on that weren't designed that way, but generally they're very versatile. So you're probably aware Victrix brought out about 4 lots of armoured Greek hoplites in the past. There's these guys, there's the Athenians, there's the Thebans, and the generic mercenaries, and they've all got exactly the same bodies. And in fact, well, you've got 8 per sprue, there's only 4 unique bodies, which is slightly disappointing. The main difference between the different kits is the types of accessories and the types of heads they've got. So the Spartans here, they've gone very much for the Peloponnesian War era, where they tended to have the Pylos helmets, the sort of simple conical ones with the long hair, long beards. They've got a few other ones, Corinthians in there as one actually, and that might be it. So there's actually a bit less heads per sprue than a lot of the other Victrix kits. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can vary them a bit depending on how hairstyles you add on. So only 9 for 8 guys. Is that right? I usually give you more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, interesting. Okay. You've also got 1 nice cape per sprue. As usual, heaps of other options, so lots of different swords there. Got a sash, you've got a trumpeter, and a couple of different types of banners you can add on. The other feature, or perhaps criticism, of these earlier Victrix sets is that the poses are very static. You can see they're all basically standing to attention. You can put them with a thrusting spear, but it doesn't look particularly dangerous or exciting, so that's one thing to bear in mind. So, but that is hopefully what's going to be redressed with the new Greek hoplite sprue. There's the back of that one. How many weapons? You've got enough? 8, so everyone can be a spearman if you want. How many swords? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4. I think there's only 4 with swords in hand. Yeah. So you can't have more as swordsman if you wanted that, which is minor detraction. And they all have the same style basic aspis shield. They do have the nice little bit of detail on the back. So yeah, pretty good. I'm going to put some together and give you a look at them, and I'll paint up some properly and compare them with some of the other beautiful Spartans I've got out there. The Spartans obviously pretty fascinating culture to depict, so I'm going to get into them and I'll show you some in a minute. Right, almost there. Made a fair bit of progress with these Spartans, and I've got to say, having worked on some metal figures such as the WIP figures recently, I'd kind of forgotten what a bit of an ordeal it was to put some of these plastic guys together. So firstly, you've got to clean off quite a lot of mold lines down the edges of these guys, a lot more than the modern Victrix kits have. I think they must have improved their techniques over the last 10 years or so, but there's quite a bit of work to clean them up first, and then they are very fiddly just to put the little bastards together. So they've got two parts of their head. They've got the hair extension and the head itself. You've got to glue them together first without gluing your fingers to them, which I did multiple times. And then you've got to glue the sidearm on, the arms on, and then ultimately the shield and the spear. So there's quite a bit of mucking around, and it really pissed me off, to be honest, initially. And I was thinking I was going to have to give these guys a pretty negative review, but having got them all together and then put a base coat of black on them, all of a sudden they transformed into absolutely magnificent figures. So all was forgiven, even if it wasn't all forgotten. So if you're someone who doesn't mind mucking around and kit bashing, or not kit bashing, but just putting a bit of work into the construction process, then it's fine. But if you're someone who would rather just get on and start painting, then I'd certainly recommend some of those metal figures I've reviewed recently, such as the WIP ones, or the Foundry have got some superb Spartans. In fact, this guy at the back is a Foundry metal figure who they fit in very well with the Victrix guys in terms of scale, and they do some fantastic commanders, particularly in sort of character Spartans as well. So I would go for them if I wasn't willing to put in a bit of effort with the construction process. Anyhow, they're starting to look fantastic, I reckon, and I'm just going to put another couple of guys on the front. So I basically started doing this basing method where you put the back guys on, you put all the basing material around, get that looking decent, then you glue the front guys on and do the same around them. A few other guys, so the ones preparing to come on the front, this sort of commander perhaps, another fella marching along, got a trumpeter here with a double trumpet, he's looking quite nice, and then I've got two guys who are headless so far. They're waiting on the new heads coming in the new the new Greek hoplites kit, which I'm hoping will arrive here in the next few days. So as soon as I get them, I'm going to do the heads and whack them on, and I want to use one of those ones with the double crest, Cryptera, I think it's called, one of these guys, and not sure which other one I'll use, but we'll soon find out. So back in a few days, which will be a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds for you guys, and I'll show you what I've done. Right, a couple of seconds later, and here is the first Spartan coming around. The shields you might recognise as not being the ones that come with Victrix. These are actually off Etsy. That's Ellie's Oddities make these ones, and I've done a video on some of the embossed shields previously. I'll put the link to the video, but also put the link to the Ellie's Oddity shield Etsy site. They're actually reasonably affordable, certainly cheaper than a lot of other Etsy stuff. Now let's chuck up a few more dudes. So here's some more Spartans. I've done 3 blocks of 4, or no, 2 of 4 and 1 of 3 in fact. Put them all on, and I'll point out a few. I'll get this boy off for now. A few little features. So first one would be to say that guy has one of the new helmets off the new Greek hoplite set from Victrix, and this guy front is a totally new Victrix Greek hoplite. So they have a few of the helmets in that set that look like Spartans. They've certainly got long hair at the front and the back anyway, and a few of them with a big kind of commander horizontal crests as well, which I haven't done in this set, but I'll bring out some of them sometime fairly soon. All in all, fantastic set. As I mentioned at the start, bit fiddly and a bit of a nuisance to put some of the bits together, but once you get in the swing of it, sort of manageable, and the end product makes it all worthwhile. Detractions from the kit, you don't get enough capes. You only get one per sprue. It'd be nice to have a lot more, because a lot of references and images of the Spartans they're very keen on their red capes, and everyone had one, I believe, at least at some time. So it'd be nice if they all had one, but not to be. A lot of the guys in the linothorax, not many in the muscled cuirass or bell cuirass, which is classic sort of feature as well. So perhaps could have had a few more of them, but that's about all. Otherwise, brilliant kit as usual. So they're the Spartans. That would be the homoi, that is the or Spartiates, the actual citizens of Sparta. And then I've got a few other guys to show you. So if you've read a bit about Spartan society, there were sort of three major classes. There were those ones, the homoi or the Spartiates, actual citizens, top class guys. Then there were the perioikoi, who were the people living around, so kind of not quite full citizens, but given reasonably good rights and not sort of persecuted terribly, as opposed to the helots, who were the slave class really, after the Spartans conquered Messene to the north. They basically enslaved the entire population for many generations, which was interesting because it then led to a strange kind of dichotomy where they were renowned as for their military prowess, and yet they were fairly reluctant to get involved in distant wars, because they were worried generally that if they left with a big army, that they would have this revolt, basically slave uprising in their homeland. So they were always reluctant to go adventuring too far from home, certainly with sizable armies. These guys are from just north of Sparta. They're the Tageans. So they were another city that came under the Spartan hegemony, really. The Spartans tried to conquer them early on in their history, but failed, and then used a little bit more subtlety and diplomacy, and ended up bringing them into their influence, and they became very loyal allies and fought with the Spartans and were largely indistinguishable. I did see some reference somewhere, I think it was in the Osprey book, that they probably did have shields with their the T for Tegea on the front, as opposed to the lambda symbol for Lacedaemonia on the Spartan ones. So that's why I painted them like that, just to give them a little bit of distinction, also giving them slightly more orange colour to their tunics to set them apart a little bit. Let me put a few this guy Spartans up with them, just to appreciate the slight difference. So obviously I've freehanded those Tagean shields, reasonably happy with them. Quite hard to get the T's all to be very symmetrical and look the same, but anyway, I think they would have been hand painted in the old days, so they probably were quite variable in reality. There we have it, Spartans Armoured Plastics by Victrix. As always, thumbs up for them, very cool. Obviously, I have now got the new Greek hoplite set as well, so I'm already made a start on getting them out. So if you want to see them in their full glory, stay tuned, bell button, like, comment, etc., and I will be up with a video on that one pretty soon. The other exciting thing on Ancient Greeks is that the WIP Miniatures, who are a new one in the UK, making metal figures, have just put out their second batch of Greeks on their website, and they look fantastic. I'm going to get hold of some of them soon, and I'll be getting them up on another review as soon as possible. And they did tell me also they're going to do some dedicated Spartan ones down the track, which will be exciting to see. So I will be bringing all their stuff to you as soon as I can get hold of them and get some videos out. All right, shooting out. All the best. See ya.